As most of you know, me, Mica, and Alyah went to Kenya in April. And we just want to start by thanking the church and the church members for all the money and time you put into this and for sponsoring us to go, because without it, we would not have been able to go. So thank you so much. And let's start with a quick word of prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for another day of life. And please help us have a good presentation and for us to glorify you. And thank you that we were all able to go and that we had a great time. In your name, amen.
It was a group about 63 of us who went, and we had to meet at the school and then drive to Chicago for 3 hours. And then we had to get on a plane to go to Istanbul, Turkey, which took 10 hours. And then you have the time zone change. So we went forward 7 hours. And then we had to wait there. And we had to walk all the way across the airport to get to the other side to where we needed to go. And then we went to, we got on the plane to go to Nairobi. And that was for 6 hours. And then we got in a bus for 7 hours, 7 to 8 hours. So we traveled for like 24 hours probably. And when we got to the hotel, it was like already Tuesday. So we started Sunday and then got there on Tuesday. And these are the buses that we had to get in. And then we saw baboons on the side of the roads, which was really cool. And then we got to see like a lot of the people. They get up really early, which is weird. And then this is where we stayed. And you want to talk about that?
All right, so we stayed at a resort in Kisii, Kenya. It was very nice compared to what we were expecting. And we had a couple floors reserved for our group since we had such a large group. And the rooms were very nice. Some of the beds were hard, but it's better than sleeping on the floor, so we were happy. One thing that we did not expect was the showers, because in order to get hot water there, you had to turn on a switch and then wait for the water to warm up. But the knobs would like shock you. So like when you turn the water on, it'd be like zap. So we had to like find all these different ways to turn on the shower without actually touching the knobs, because we would get like shocked in the process. But our hotel was pretty close to all of our job sites. Some of the medical and dental was pretty far, so we did have to take a bus about an hour, 2 hours, sometimes 2.5 hours to get to our location, but it wasn't that bad. The roads were really bad. They don't have traffic lights or signs anywhere, so it's like a free-for-all. You think you can go, you go. And the roads were very bumpy at some points. Our shoulders were sore from knocking against the windows, but it was very beautiful there.
Okay, so at the resort, we had food prepared for us for breakfast and dinner. We made our own lunches and took them to the sites, but these were the ladies who prepared our meals for us, and we ate very well over there. I know I probably put on a few pounds, which I wasn't expecting, and the food was all very good. They fixed a lot of Kenyan dishes for us, like chapati, which is a type of bread tortilla thing with lentils. We had a lot of lentils and rice. They also have, what is it called? Is it like ugali? Ugali, which is like corn and flour mix, something like that. We had collards, which were interesting vegetables. I've never tasted anything quite like that before. But they also made us some American food. We had French fries one night, and that was like, it was getting to the point where, wow, we were starting to miss food from home. And so it came at just the right time, and we got down there for dinner, and there was this huge vat of French fries. So that was very exciting for us. So, yeah.
Throughout the whole trip, we had to drink through water bottles. So that was interesting. So we couldn't drink any water, or like when we take showers, we'd have to face away from the water, which was interesting. And then these are like what some of the roads look like on the side.
So that right there, that green stuff is sugar cane. Has anyone ever had sugar cane before? Did you like it? You loved it? So I had some pretty high expectations. My mom had some when she was in high school, and she was like, wow, Micah, I wish you could have tasted it. I know you'd really love it. So I was like, I wonder if I'll ever get to try some. Well, one day we went out to VBS, like way out in the bush. It took us 3 hours to get there. And, oh no. On the way back, we stopped for sugar cane because our principal was like, I really want some sugar cane, and they sell everything from the side of the road, so you can get it anywhere. So we stopped and we got some, and one of those big, long stalks of it cost us 100 shillings, which is $1. And it can feed probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 people. They cut it up for you with machetes right there into different stalks, so you get one that's like that big. And you have to peel it with your teeth. So that's interesting. You have to be really careful doing that. And then you bite off, you peel all the green part off, and then you get to the white part, and then you take bites of it and you chew it, but you don't swallow like the fiber, you spit it out because it's not good for you. So you're just getting the juice, and it was really good. I was kind of surprised. So.
The next day after we got to rest, we had the chance to go to a village, I would say, which was like 2 hours away, and we got to do vacation Bible school, and we got the chance to do medical and dental there as well. And I think we saw about more than 60 people that day. And they greeted us by singing, and which was really cool because we got to like hear them, and they're really excited. And then we also had the chance to dress up and tell the kids stories about Jesus and his second coming. And then this was a different day, but they had they went to a different place to do vacation Bible school, and they said that about 1,000 kids were there, and they weren't expecting that. And it was like boys and girls school. So we didn't get the chance to go because we're at construction, but I thought that was really cool, and they handled it really well because they weren't expecting like 1,000 kids to go, so it was cool.
Basically at Vacation Bible School, we did crafts with the children, and we gave them crayons so they can color, and played with them, and excuse me. And then we sang songs with them. They taught us some of their songs, and we taught them some of our songs in English, which they like to hear us sing because they don't hear like instruments, which we had some guitars and stuff a lot. So it was cool to like hear them sing to us and then show them our songs. And then that was one of the leaders from Maranatha, Marlon. He was really nice. He loved the kids. He was so cool. And yeah, so we just played with them, and we even had some balloons, and some of our leaders made little animals for them. They loved it so much. It was so cute.
Just another thing about the day where they had the 1,000 kids, we were actually told by Marlon, who's Maranatha's VBS coordinator, like he's the head of the entire VBS department. He was there with us. He told us that we broke the record for that country for the number of kids to show up to VBS. They never had that sort of number before. So we also, yeah.
Then on that Friday, we all three got the chance to go see the construction site, which was really cool. And on the left side is the buildings that they were in before we went, and like Maranatha, other groups came before us to set up schools too. And when we got there, this was what the other group left us, so we had to build the rest of it. And before we could go to our hotel, after the 24 hours of traveling, the kids of the school wanted to greet us, and we're just like, oh, we're so tired. We just want a bed. We just want to lay down. But when we got there and saw them like singing, it was just like, we got excited because it was like, wow, they came all this way stopped school just to come sing to us. And then we got out of the buses, and they grabbed our hands when we went to them, and they walked us up into the school, and they held onto our hands, and they were so excited, and they sang us songs, and we got to meet the teachers there, which was really cool, and we got to meet a lot of the kids, and they showed us around the school, and it was really cool.
So this is this at Moana?
No.
No. This is one of their classrooms. This is in the older building. It was made of mud and sticks and somehow held up through all those years that it's been there. So this was the class that was going to meet in the building that we were building. Like Alyah said, other Maranatha groups had come and built other school buildings. I don't know, there were like 6 of them? Yeah. So 2 classes, there's a divider in the middle like you see there. There's another class on the other side. So one class would meet in one side and the other class would meet in the other side. And I think this is like 2nd, 3rd grade or something. I don't know. But so this is what their old classroom looks like.
On the left is Martha Smith, and she's Sam Smith's wife, and I had the privilege of working with her, and she taught me how to lay the bricks down, which is really cool because I've never done anything like that in my life, and it was kind of hard at first because they'd be like, oh, do it this way, and then do it that way, and I was like, oh, what'd I do? So I had a hard time learning to do it, and then there's some of the students right there on the right picture working, and then the man in the middle is one of the people who were already there from Maranatha who helped us. And yeah. That's us working. And then this was towards the end of the trip. We were putting on doors and windows and cleaning it up. And then these are all the kids, and I think they were on spring break, but they still came to see us, and they would help us because we had like a pile of sand and stuff, and the kids just got in there and would like help us and take it back to where it needed to go, which was a big help at the end, and there were just so many of them. And then this was the end result.
Okay, so when we finished the building, yeah. We had a dedication ceremony which included all of the students and some parents and people from the community who came to see our finished result. And so after 2 weeks we finished it, and they sang to us and we sang to them, and they were so thankful. They were just so happy that they had their final building, because this was the last building on their campus that Maranatha was providing for them. So they were so happy that we did this for them. People from the community who weren't even like Seventh-day Adventists were saying that they were thankful for us building this building, because now that people around the area know that there's a good school, they're going to send their children. So more children are going to come, and they're going to tell their parents about the Lord. And so like everyone was happy that they finally had their final building. Excuse me. And they also gave us a gift. They gave us like a shirt to remember them, and we sang to them. And then that was the day that we had to leave for the safari. So it was kind of sad to think like this was probably the last time that I'll ever see them, like those people in my life. If I even do go back to Kenya, it was kind of sad to think that that was the last time we'd see them. But we bonded with them. It was great. So out of the 3 of us, I probably did medical and dental, well, just medical more, but medical and dental clinics were at a different spot every day, so we'd have to drive and take all of our supplies there. And we did triage, so we just basic like blood pressure and pulse and stuff. And then we had about 5 doctors from Kenya who actually took 2 weeks off of work just to like come and help us see patients. So we were thankful, and they were really nice too. And then we had 4 nurses that came with us, and 2 doctors. One was a dentist and one was a doctor. And basically, we ran these medical and dental clinics in either a church or just a structure outside that we could use. And it was really cool. I did labs. I was even taught how to do the labs, which was like taking blood and checking for malaria, HIV, and doing urine samples. And I was taught how to do all of that, so it was really cool. And these were some of the people that came. A lot of people came. One day we saw like 400 and something patients. Like, it was crazy. It wasn't, the other days it would get really hectic because people would just be so pushy, like, let me go see the doctor now. And we're just like, you gotta wait in line. And then some people were so rude, but we did have translators. Most people could speak English because in Kenya they do teach you English at school. So you do learn your tribal language, English, and Swahili. So by the time they're adults, they usually know 3 languages. So we could speak to some of them. And then we gave glasses. That's Dr. Knowlton. He pulled, I don't remember how many teeth he pulled, 100-something teeth. And most of the people, they were really nice. They smiled a lot. That's Dr. Ford. And that's Macy. She's a nurse. And it was really cool. It was actually, when I went, there wasn't a lot of positives for malaria, which I was happy because I expected there to be a lot of positives for that, but there wasn't. And we gave out medications, and it was pretty good. It was fun.
Okay, so we also were working at the Mawada Adventist School for the Deaf. Originally, like, I don't know, a couple years ago, they had about 120 students. Some of them are orphans, but some of them do have families. But the conditions at the school were so deplorable that I think when the Umalis, like the first crew, went over in October to check it out, they had like 64 or something students, 70 something. But then when we went, there were 24. So this is part of the school. That's the girls' shower. We actually tore that down because we built them a new one, or we were working on it anyway. You can go to the next slide. Yeah. So this is their kitchen. They didn't have any kind of shelving. That's their cook stove. Like, there's a bunch of tools off in the corner that you can't see. There's Mr. Smith assessing the situation because we actually had planned to help them out and improve their kitchen, give it kind of a makeover. And those are the counters. That's the counter that we built, or Mr. Smith built, to hold their food and stuff. And we had to move this like 2,000-pound chicken coop from this point, like way over here, to way over here. So we had to figure out how to do that because the chickens were still inside also, Leah wants me to tell you. And they went for actually the ride of their lives that day. So we had to figure out how to move it. We were going to lift it first, and then that took all of us, and we decided that we weren't trying to kill ourselves that day. So we figured out a different way to move it. And then this is Alyah and I. The bathrooms are so bad. I think you'll see a picture here in a minute there. And so we were building a new girls' toilet. And so that's the rebar that goes in the cement slab that goes over like the 30-meter hole that's dug back behind the dorms. So there's Mrs. Smith teaching us how to tie rebar together. Yeah, this is the bathroom at the school for the deaf. So the left side is the boys and the right side is the girls. You want to talk about anything?
So everywhere outside of the hotel had bathrooms like this. It was a hole in the ground, and a lot of us were just scared. But when we first got to the Mawada School for the Deaf, there's like, if you can see, there's little dots on this side. Those are flies. And a group of like 3 of my friends were just like, we can't do this. There's too many flies. So we just were like, we're not gonna go in there. Let's just go in the bush. So we ended up going in the forest that they had there, and it was traumatizing, but yeah. And then this is the entrance to the boys' dorm, and the other groups before us came and gave them beds because they were using old mattresses. And so they also have like these what are those called?
Mosquito nets?
No, like where they keep their stuff.
Oh, trunks.
Trunks. They have trunks where they keep their belongings. And in the boys' dorm, there were actually chickens in there laying their eggs. And they were like under the bed and like on top of the bed everywhere. And that was a hazard. So the last day that they went to this school, a group of girls actually cleaned the rooms for the kids. And then this is some of their, like the classrooms that they have. And so they teach them sign language. And we got a chance to learn some of their songs in sign language, which I thought was really cool. And then these are some of the kids. You want to talk about Judy?
Oh my goodness. So that girl over there on the far left in that picture, her name is Judy, and she was like my favorite person I met the entire trip. She's 9, I think, and she's the smallest at the school, and she's also the youngest, but she doesn't let other people boss her around. She's really sassy, actually. She called some other kid an elephant while we were there, so that was interesting. But when she was little, she got really sick, so that stopped her growth. I don't think she's going to go any taller, at least not very much. But I really loved playing with the kids at this school, especially Judy.
And then we also had the chance to do vacation Bible school with them, which was really fun. And they got to color, and then we got to blow bubbles with them, and they were so excited. I don't think they've ever seen them, or if they have, but they were having so much fun. And we got to play soccer. And then towards the end of the day, we got to go and get water with them. And they carry those buckets in their hands for about a mile to go get water from a little pipe that, I don't know if you can see it, but they take turns. And they go with one grown-up, so all these kids go together and they go get water. And it was an experience, because to go that far just to get water, it was something that we don't have to do here. So that was like kind of eye-opening, that we should be thankful for the things that we have here. And then we had to carry the water back, which was really heavy. So yeah. And there. But they were really excited to take pictures. Like when I had my camera with me, and they would like want to see how it looked, because they don't have cameras there. So they were like so excited to see themselves, and they're like, "Look, that's me," and it was really funny. And then they go to get water 4 times a day, I think. So they do that trip every day. And then we also got to do puzzles with them, and we got to teach them how to do it. And at first, since we can't communicate with them, they didn't know what we were doing. So we got the chance to like just do it, and then at the end, like these 2 girls, they understood how to build the puzzle, and they were so excited, and they're like, look, I did it, I can do it. And it was so cool because they were excited. So then we left the puzzles there for them so that they can do it whenever they want, and that was really cool. And then we brought a lot of clothes with us from when people donated them. So we got to take it to the school, and we got to hand it out to, like, we gave each kid an outfit or 2 and like socks, and they're really excited, because when we gave them dresses and stuff, they're just like, yay, like showing it off. And then Judy, she was all wearing everything that we gave her. And she had on a jacket, and we're just like, how is she not hot? Because it's like 60 something or 80. And we're just like, how is she not hot? But she had on all her clothes. It was so funny. And then we also got to do crafts with them, and they were really excited. And then we had pipe cleaners, and we made them like hearts out of it. And then they made like glasses, and they thought it was so funny.
Our first Sabbath there, we went we drove in our buses to the Maasai people, where they live far out in the bush too. But Maranatha had built them a church, as you can see the structure that Maranatha had built them before we got there. So the first Sabbath we decided we would worship there with them. And when we got there, they greeted us the same way we were greeted every time we went somewhere new. They sang to us. They had us walk in like a certain line in between them, and they were so happy. You could like see the love in their eyes for people they didn't even know. And they sang for a long time. They were just like so happy to sing to us. And then we also had, this was when they had the guys line up, but we had a children's program too, so some of the students got to lead out in telling stories to the children, which there were so many children there. We had, I don't remember how many we had.
250 or something.
Like 250 kids came to church that day, so we had to like make a huge circle and like talk to them and give them like crafts and pipe cleaners. And then they had all the men get in a circle, which none of us really knew what was happening at that time, but all the guys got in a circle and they got a staff, and then all the women got in a circle and they put these Maasai blankets on us, which this is what they look like. And basically they like inducted our whole group into their tribe. And they were like, you guys are Maasai. If you come back to Kenya, you are part of our family. And so, like, we're part of a tribe now. And so this was all of us at the end of the day.
And we didn't know what they were doing until, like, after the next day. And we're like, we're in a tribe? What? Because, like, they just had us. And when they were putting the blankets on us, you could just, like, tell how happy they were that we were there. And she was like, when the lady came to me and she put it on, she's like, thank you so much for being here. And I was just shocked, because I was like, wow, we're doing so little, but it's so much for them. And that was exciting.
And actually the men, there were more women in this tribe than men, because when the men turn 15, they actually have to go into the wild with a spear and kill a lion in order to become Maasai. So you could definitely tell there were many more women than men, but they were very respected too. And their clothing was very beautiful, bright colors, yellows, blues, oranges. They had lots of headgear and bracelets and stuff, and then what?
Oh, so Pastor Commander, that's his name, he was the Adventist pastor of Paroko, where we went. Actually, he pastored a lot of churches, but he was the one who helped us out. He helped us pick out chickens and cows to take to Mawada that Central raised money for. But he had killed 2 lions. So he was like double a member of the Maasai tribe. Oh, do you want me to have that?
After we had our lunches, we got a chance to go to one of the members' houses, which was like right up the road. And he had like 2 huts, I think, and he had cattle there, and you could just tell how proud he was of how little he had. And he was like, this is my home, this is where I do this, these are my cattle, and he was so excited to show us this. And in this picture, there's so many kids there that we didn't know where their parents were, but they were just everywhere, and they were so excited, and like we were singing songs with them. And there was one baby who was on the back of one, and like every time one of us would like wave to her, she'd cry, and we were like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? But they've never seen like us before, so they were scared kind of. And then over that like hill, I guess, those are where the lions were. That's what they told us. And then these were some of the kids that we saw. There were so many. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so we were getting up at like 5 or 5:15 every morning, and you know, you get up and you work hard all day. It gets dark about 6 o'clock there, and that's like the time you're ready to go to bed. honestly, and it changed us as people, I think. So this is after church. We had like a 2.5 hour ride back, and this was our bus. All three of us were on the same bus. You can see us in there. And our principal took this picture because as soon as we got on the bus, they turned the air conditioning on for us. We shut all the curtains and the windows, and we went to sleep. The whole ride back, we were out.
And then, but like every time we would go to the job sites and everything, we would have the curtains open. So there would just be people, because these people get up at like 4 a.m. for their days to start. And they're already like setting up and like getting ready to start their days. And then every time we would see a kid or like a person on the side of the road, they would wave, and then like we'd wave back, and like we all just felt so happy because these kids would get like the biggest smiles on their faces, and like they'd get so excited that we're waving at them, and then everybody was so nice to us, so that was something that was good.
Also, we had the opportunity to purchase Bibles for the Maasai people. They were about $9 each, so our group decided we would purchase 100, which was $900 that we had to raise. So they gave us the opportunity to actually buy one for someone. So if I wanted to buy one, I would give money. So I decided I wanted to buy one, and so I was like, okay, I'll buy one, but I was thinking, I only remembered that I had $20, and I was like, oh, I need that money for the trip back because I need to buy food. So I was like, maybe I have some extra dollars or something, because I remembered I had shoved some dollars in my bag. So I was like, I prayed real quick. I was like, Lord, if I have $9 in my Bible, in my bag, I will buy a Bible for someone. And then, like a little while later, when I was in my room, I checked my bag, and right in there was $5 and $4. And I was like, oh my gosh! Literally, the Lord like had planned that from when I was at the airport spending money, that I would have the perfect amount to buy a Bible for somebody. And I thought that was a blessing. And then we ended up actually raising about 1,300 something. So we bought them like 150 Bibles actually. And so that was a blessing too, because we had a goal of 900 and we didn't really think we would get it, but we actually passed it. And so now all the Maasai people have Bibles now from us.
Okay, so they asked me to talk about the safari because I guess my vehicle saw more animals than they did. So Thursday morning, we were done with work, and the safari vehicles came all the way from the Masai Mara, which was like 7 hours away, and picked us up, and then we had to drive all the way back to the Masai Mara from Kisi. So we were supposed to have a half a day safari on Thursday and then a full day on Friday. And we got that, and it was really amazing. I don't know about you guys, but I love seeing all of God's creatures in nature. And the Masai Mara it means like beautiful treasure, I think. And it really lives up to its name because just the land is beautiful. You can see Tanzania, as they say over there, from where you are in the valley, and then all around you there's mountains. And we were there during the rainy season, so it was cloudy a lot, but then sometimes like the sunbeams would shine down through the clouds, and it was really beautiful in the valley. So we saw lots of animals. We saw water buffalo, water bucks, my group saw cheetahs. That was really cool. No one else did. Lots of antelope, mongoose, lions, in Kenya, there's like what they call the Big Five. And so there's 5 main animals that most people want to see. And one of our shirts, we have them on there that we'll show to you. But there's lions. Is it jaguars? Jaguars? Leopard, my bad. Leopard, we didn't see any of those, so I don't remember. Leopard, rhinoceros, hippos, and elephants. Did I get 5? And giraffes. So...
the day we were leaving to go to to go back home, these elephants actually came in front of us, and it was really cool because it wasn't a part of the safari area. So they just came out of nowhere and crossed the road, and that was really cool to see them. And we also learned that like their tusks like if one's shorter than the other, then they're like right-handed or left-handed. So you can tell by that. They like to pick with one side,
Yeah,
on
they
one
like to
side
use it
more than the other. That's cool.
So we had lots of amazing photographers on this trip. So we saw, I don't know, hundreds of animals. So here's some pictures. My group, we saw a herd of giraffes, which was really cool because there was like 25. And our driver, his name was Augustus, he's like, yeah, they don't usually do this. This is a treat for you guys. So, you want to talk about this?
Oh yeah. This is the bathroom at the stop. It was really clean. I was very happy. And then this is like one of the
Bridges? Oh, trenches, yeah.
trenches. And there was a crocodile, I think, chilling there. And they said that people would cross this to get to somewhere safe. And so it's crazy because there's like hippos in the water and there's like crocodiles.
Is this in Tanzania?
Yeah.
Okay, so they also, we didn't know this until like the day we actually did this, but Friday we actually went from Kenya into Tanzania, and there's like no border control. Like you just walk right in and you can go for miles before you actually see somebody. So we also went to Tanzania while we were over there. That's where we saw the hippos.
And then this is like how they sell stuff. And it was really cool because we got to see all their necklaces and bracelets. And that was cool. And we got to buy some. And when we were... This is one time about that? The safari place? Okay. When we were at the safari place, these women would come up to our vehicles and just like stick their hands in the car and be like, oh, bye, bye. And we were all just like, whoa, what do we do? And then like one time our safari person just got out of his vehicle and left us there. And we were just like, no, come back. Because they were crowding around us. It was really funny. I think that's it.
No? Oh, you don't have any more? So you want to close?
Yeah.
All right, so the way that this mission trip impacted me was that I really got to see like how people can be so happy with nothing when they're like right with God, and they were just so smiley and they just loved us, and I appreciated how like you could see like the love in people's eyes. Like I'm just meeting this person, they're saying thank you for coming, and I just look in their face and they're smiling so wide. I'm just like, you don't even know me, but like yeah, I feel love like between us. And that was with the Maasai people. Also how education was a gift because their children have to wake up so early and walk by themselves or with their friends all the way to school, and here it's so accessible to me. And I'm thankful that it's easy to get an education here. My mom can just take me to school. I don't have to walk anywhere. And I could see the Lord working all around our group while we were there. And it was a blessing, especially when we raised money for the Bibles for people. And so I was very thankful that I was able to go on this mission trip.
Something that really impacted me the most was probably the water. Like, we just can go anywhere to get water here that's clean. And the kids at the schools or anywhere, they have to walk so long to just get water. And, like, I already knew that before I went, but, like, just seeing it and how they actually do it, it was just something else. And I was like, you have to be thankful for this. Like, when you go back home, just be thankful for anything and everything, because what you think is so little, it's so much to them. And that was really... It was really eye-opening. And then another thing was just like thankful for like parents, because a lot of these kids do have to get up so early in the morning, and we're just like, where's your parents? Like, they're just walking on the side of the road waving at us, and we're just like, where's their mom or dad? Shouldn't they be walking them to school? But they were just walking by themselves, and I was like, I should just be thankful for having my mom. And it was just another thing that was eye-opening. And I'm really thankful I got to experience this.
So something that really impacted me the entire time I was there, like before I left, I was like, oh, I wonder what my favorite part of this trip's going to be, because I've never been to Africa before. So It was pretty clear after a few days that my favorite part was just the kids. They are so amazing. They do so much over there without complaining, which, we complain about, oh my goodness, this and that, and they don't say a word. So I really think that, personally, they taught me more than I helped to teach them. Also, another thing was in Parocco, the Sabbath we spent with the Maasai. That was the closest to heaven that I think I'll ever feel on earth. That just the real feeling of love, like when the lady who put the blanket around me, she gave me this really big hug. I've never been hugged like that before. And she said, "I love you." And she didn't even know me. She didn't know my name. But she loved me. And I think that's really amazing. And I have some numbers for you guys that we'll close with. So medical dental care was provided to over 1,500 people. VBS Week of Prayer presentations were given to over 2,000 children. The new school building was constructed, as well as a girls' shower and latrine, and much-needed kitchen shelving for the Mawata school. And they're also getting a well. We didn't talk about that, but we raised money for a well beforehand. And we were supposed to be able to see it dug while we were there, but the well drilling vehicle got stopped at the Kenyan border. There was a problem with that, but they are getting one. I think it's soon. I think it's this month. So people also raised money to purchase 3 cows, 4 goats, and very many chickens for the Mawata School for the Deaf because they have nothing. The kids would go out and pick grass and boil it and eat it for lunch. So we bought them food and stuff. So we met hundreds of people on this trip, and sadly, unfortunately, I don't remember all their names because I don't have that great a memory, but God knows them all. And He wants each and every one in His kingdom, just like He wants all of us in His kingdom. So there are about 43.5 million people in Kenya, like half of those live in Nairobi also. And about 80% of Kenya is Christian, of some denomination or another. We saw lots of churches there. But that still leaves 20% who may never have heard of Christ. And there are also millions to billions of people around the rest of the world who've never heard of Him. So let's make that number 100%. God says to go and to tell all peoples, nations, and languages that He is coming soon. And so that's what we want to do. Would you bow your heads with me for prayer, please? Dear Heavenly Father, we are so grateful that we were able to go on this trip, that we were provided this opportunity. We hope that we touched the lives of everyone around us and that we were a good influence to them. Lord, please be with us as we prepare the way for your second coming. And please love and take care of us and guide us in our lives. In Jesus' name, amen.